Hey everyone, Hanukkah Cease with the Stock Market Academy. Just want to drop a weekly newsletter about what to look for this week. I think stocks and assets across the board, including a lot of commodities, are at a major turning point right now. And so it's imperative that you know what I'm looking at so that you know what to look at in the market this week. And so let's just start with what happened last week. We saw a major rally off the lows from here, which price was trading at lower Bollinger on all time frames, daily, weekly, and the monthly chart. And we saw last week's rally on higher breadth. Now remember, this means the number of New York stock uh, listed companies that trade up or advance versus those that trade down or decline. And so this generally signals that there was widespread participation among New York Stock Exchange stocks that went up. The majority of them went up last week. And it went up on higher overall volume on the S&P 500. So that signals that there was a strong move. Now we did see some pump fakes there, like we saw a rally here on higher breadth, but it's just anecdotal. It doesn't tell you for sure that stocks are going up. But given what's happening in China and how China tends to precede US stocks. If you haven't seen my newsletter or video about Chinese stocks bottoming, I go through a detailed explanation of how Asian stocks have been bottoming in the last 8 weeks while US stocks have been going down. We can see here that from the same time period, the end of April, stocks literally went down. They peaked at the end of April and went down. Meanwhile, at the end of April, Chinese stocks have gone up. This is a Shanghai index. So that tells us historically in the last 2 decades, every time there was a joint bottom between China and the US, China bottomed 1 to 3 months ahead of the US. So we've seen a significant rally off the Chinese lows. And last week we saw a very interesting high volume, deep breadth rally. Now, that's not to say that this is all for the bulls now. We are headed into down trend line resistance. You can see this trend line here. And there's prior from the February low, prior support equals future resistance. And we can see that this is a major contention area. I detailed the trading that happened here in this range and how when it broke out, market collapsed. That's exactly what happened. The market broke out of this range. So at this level, 4,100, you are going to see significant, it's called a supply zone. That's where there's a lot of people that have been up and down, and they finally, all the people that bought right here, when they get to break even, they bought it here and it cratered. And they're like, oh shit, now I got to get out. And then it rallies, they tend to sell at that level. They want to get out of the market, they want to break even. That's why the red circle is what's called a supply zone. So be on the lookout for a candlestick inside the supply zone. You will have it at prior support. You will have it at a downtrend line. This is a fib level too. If you were to plot the high to low here, this is in the area of a fib level. So if you see a reversal candlestick here, that makes for a great trading opportunity to the downside. But it does seem like the market wants to make its way higher, given the bottom in China. It needs good, if not great news to do that. And this month is also important because um, if we actually close this on a positive note, okay, we will see right here a hammer candlestick. So if the market rallies this week to, let's call it the high 41.77, so that'd be a nice jump. That'd be 41. Let's just call it 4,200 divided by where we at today, 39.11. That's a 7% week. That's pushing it. But if we go up 2%, that still forms a valid hammer candlestick. So 2 to 3% move this week through Thursday because the month ends. The month ends on Thursday. If we see a 2 to 3% move hold through Thursday, this is going to form a very bullish candlestick. And on the weekly chart, it'll confirm, it'll close higher on the weekly chart, obviously. There's really no overhead supply zones on the weekly chart, but on the daily chart, that's where I'm looking for supply zones on the downtrend line fib and on prior support right around 4,100. So keep your eye on the 4,100 level, but it looks like the market has a little higher to go following the China rally. Now, on oil, if oil sells off a couple points this week, or if natural gas holds right here, we're going to have what's called a bearish engulfing. That's where the price of the entire month of June engulfs the entire price of May and closes negative. Same thing with natural gas. We had a outside Bollinger, we had a sharp shadow reversal. Price this month rallied, but then it sold. So price at the beginning of June went from here to here during the month, and then it sold off to here. So if this holds through Thursday, you could expect significant downside in natural gas. And I also detailed how natural gas broke. If you could see this support level right here, this was prior resistance equals support. Price closed below it. Very bearish. If you look at some of the IBD leaders like Earthstone Energy is another uh, major winner of the energy bull run. It went from, at the end of 2020 to $1.69 to $23. But now it looks like it's starting to break down. We saw this huge sell-off last week, 2 weeks ago, and then this past week, it broke through major uh, right here. This was major support. Here's next major support. And if you plot the uptrend line from here, you could see that it's right at support, right below support. So it's a very, let's just draw that here so you could see what I'm seeing. From the December low, if you plot this way, you would have a break in the trend line approximately right here. I wrote an article about it, how to make money in bear market, where I detail this actual chart. But this underscores my point that we're seeing toppy signals in oil. We're seeing toppy signals in natural gas. We're seeing toppy signals in the leaders of the energy bull run the last 2 years. And again, we're all following China. So when energy goes down, stocks tend to go up because it's good for the economy. They tend to move inversely. I haven't really tested that correlation in a while. It comes and goes, but at this point, everyone's worried about inflation, so a decrease in energy would probably be pretty good for stocks. And it looks like it's all lining up. It looks like there's some confluence. If you missed it, check out How to Make Money in a Bear Market. It's one of my newsletters. Check out oil is about to collapse and how to you could possibly trade it. Check out natural gas signals, major sell signal, and check out Chinese stocks have bottomed. Is the U.S. next? That'll kind of wrap up or give you more detail of everything what I just wrapped up here today. So let's see what happens through Thursday. You probably won't hear from me until then. It's going to be interesting. I'll be watching the charts and looking for new opportunities. Have a good one. Thanks.